Facebook lied to you. Facebook lied to you. Radio lied to you. Radio fuck you.
With all the rumors and allegations swarming R. Kelly's career, it would be safe to say that 2019 mainstream media, together with the corporation, successfully did what they intended to do: defame the character and strip a title from the person that we have called the King of R&B. Just like with many other things, we see the same pattern going over and over. How many times have artists spoken out against things going on in the industry and then turn around and we see them going through hell? What happens when these artists realize all they worked hard, all they've sacrificed for has been stolen right under their nose? What happens when these corporations go out and they prey upon these artists who have a hard life looking for their way out the ghetto? They give them these lifestyles. They put them up on these pedestals. And just like that, they will make them an example for people like you and I. And then the next thing people will ask is, what happened to all the black leaders? Just like now, all this information is coming out about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and all these great leaders who were assassinated in our face. And I said this a long time ago, I think even in the beginning of my blogging, is when people start talking about the FBI, especially Tasha K. What does that mean? When we know for a fact the FBI has single-handedly had their hand in a lot of the assassinations and corruption going on in the black community, from issuing out the guns in the poverty-stricken neighborhoods. This shit goes deep. COINTELPRO. Don't forget your history here in February. But anyways, I digress. The point in this video was because how can you take serious the narratives from certain individuals when they won't even address one topic and be real about it? One topic in particular, and that is, where is R. Kelly's money? What was going on with these people within R. Kelly's camp? To put out a narrative that Daryl McDavid and other managers were paying off R. Kelly's settlements? No. We're not going to do that. We're going to look at that for what it is. These people that were surrounding this man had their own objectives. They didn't care about his fortune. They didn't care about protecting his brand. It was about what they could get. I say that because here we are looking at this bullshit. And if he had a real team behind him, we obviously know this would not be the case. Why do I say that? Because look at all these other cases when people who are actually guilty, such as the Pope and all these clergymen who are actually guilty, who get to hide behind this anonymity when they get caught in sticky situations. We can go down a list of all these other individuals who were proven guilty of specific crimes, who they don't do all this extra shit for. So the first red flag to me was the way they targeted this man. And people will act like just because he isn't a political figure, he doesn't have influence within the black community, which is what certain individuals like to target. If these individuals are not going to cooperate with the agenda, they have to go, period. So with all that being said, we're going to discuss the fact that all these people, managers, all these people that claim to be working for this man and actually weren't, they weren't paying off lawsuits. They weren't doing anything other than what benefited them. In fact, I believe That would go hand in hand as to this RICO charge as far as the racketeering, the shady business, as I pointed out a while ago. I believe these individuals were using these girls in other situations to embezzle money, not pay off lawsuits. Stay tuned for this full video as it will all make sense as what I believe.
Had on a smear campaign since yesterday. They have been trying to, call themselves exposing me. They have been, posting my mom's information, my information, posting all my photos, posting my daughter, telling people where I live, trying to, do all of this stuff. And, we've seen this before on the internet. People get mad at something you do. I wasn't raised in this era where people, that's the gangster move. Oh, I'm going to expose your information. I was raised around real gangsters, so I know that, when, and I'm not a gangster, but I've been around gangsters, so I know, what real gangster moves are. But this internet era in 2019, people feel like, oh, if you make me mad, let me post all your information. Oh, let me dig up your public social media account that is open, that's not private. Let me post all of the photos that you already have posted to shame you and bully you into not saying anything. All the stuff that y'all posted, y'all can't shame me or silence me from stuff that I'm not ashamed of. That's number one.
That's where stupid people go left.
We're trying to now have this smear campaign and trying to say that, I don't do my research. If you are a liar and you admit to being a liar, then that exposes more about your character than it does mine. But, I understand, and, I've been viewing you guys for a while. I have not tried to be malicious. I don't agree with you guys' approach, but I feel like I'm probably one of the most fair people who cover you guys that don't agree. I give my opinion. I'm like, if it was my daughter, I wouldn't be, slandering and saying my daughter smells like shit. And I wouldn't, if I love my daughter and if I want my daughter to come home, because that's the thing that a lot of people like to say. What if it was your daughter? What if it was this? If it was my daughter, I can't imagine me having a daughter and saying, oh, I spread this rumor about my daughter in hopes that somebody will pick it up and spread it and let people know that my daughter smells like shit and tell people that she stinks, that she was out in Florida, but she stinks. The savages putting out information, their daughter got herpes, trying to blast their sex partners. If it was my daughter, I wouldn't have that approach. And I would definitely know the difference between somebody doing research and somebody not doing research. But we're not dealing with people with full decks. If somebody sends me information and says, hey, this is where it came from, and I go to the person who the information came from, and I ask you about the information that you put out, that's what you consider doing research. But again, we're not dealing with the brightest hands here. We're not dealing with the smartest, tools in the shit.
Now, just to be clear, if when I'm going through comments and I see that your comment is not on topic, it will be deleted because you know what? I'm tired of fucking around with these narratives and it don't make no sense at this point in time. You want to know why? Because if you review my content, you will notice my position and you will notice a lot of red flags I've brought to you pertaining to this topic, which is R. Kelly's inner circle and their shady activity. It never dawned on me why people would be so interested in connecting with people as fans when if you listen to all of R. Kelly's previous interviews, listen to his songs, he's clearly indicating something is going on. And then when we see him publicly robbed, that's kind of crazy in the midst of being claimed that he's running a cult. All this stuff sent red flags to a person like me who wasn't a fan, who was just piqued by all this scandal surrounding his name. So then when I bring you content and I show you that people within his inner circle who have now become so vocal were a part of things such as this.
Former employee of R. Kelly who said at first she did not want to believe that it was him. Lindsay Perryman worked for Robert Kelly on and off from 1999 to 2006, doing everything from cleaning floors to handling the defendant's personal business. She told the court that included driving the alleged victim in the now infamous sex tape to and from his Olympia Fields home. She also testified to often seeing the girl at Kelly's recording studio, sometimes carrying a pillow and an overnight bag. The image that I saw looks exactly like Mr. Kelly, Perryman said, then IDing the female on the tape, citing her facial features and her cheekbones. During cross-examination, defense attorney Mark Martin inquired about Perryman's purported master's degree from a recording conservatory in Arizona, a degree she said took only months to acquire. I didn't go to Oxford or Harvard, no, Perryman replied. Also taking the stand was Jada Burnett, a family friend of the alleged victim. She said the female on the tape was about 12 or 13 at the time and noted her distinctive cheeks and facial structure. However, that's as far as she could go.
All about it. I'm out here getting to the money like a dope boy. Got connections out of town like a dope boy. Lambo baking soda white like a dope boy. And I'm all about that life like a dope boy. I got all these bitches feeling like a dope boy. Hear the cell is steady ringing like a dope boy. Lord, please forgive me how I'm living. I was born to drive a whip with no ceiling. I'm allergic being broke, ain't no options. I'm all about the cream, extra toppings. Precisely like no link. I'm flipping this money, Mr. 15th and the first. That's your whole calling. Hit it once, now I gotta stalk it. Baby girl, I only got time for them dollars. I'm out here getting to the money like a dope boy. Got connections out of town like a dope boy. Lambo baking soda white like a dope boy. And I'm all about that life like a dope boy. I got all these bitches feeling like a dope boy.
I've come to the conclusion that either the higher ups are using the world's dumbest criminals, or these people are just so emotionally involved in this situation they don't see what's right before their eyes. But no worries, this video will walk you through it very clearly.
Hey, check it out. Join my jail supporters group. Hey, can somebody go in the jail supporter group and put it in the link? Can somebody go to my jail supporter group, grab the link, and put it in this chat right there, so people can go to the jail supporter group.
Maybe some of you all forgot the tactics that have been used in order to get people to come forth with their allegations and elaborate stories. We saw people like Tim Savage get on their platform for years calling people's names. And it's funny the names that they won't ever call, but that's another subject. We see that happening over and over. And have you ever asked yourself why? Had any of you paid attention to the fact that there were articles being released saying that R. Kelly's inner circle would be penalized as well, that they were on the hot seat? All this information is still out there for you to view. So it should be no surprise that some of these people decided they wanted to get ahead of their story. And as I've said, it is obvious that most of these people that have come forward are more focused on their image, fixing what is surrounding them, than actually speaking the truth. Now, even after I had provided so much information, I noticed these alliances being formed within these groups. You know, the groups I've told you people were scamming out of. The fact that these people have come out and consistently made you aware that all these people were aware of what was coming R. Kelly's way, and yet nobody did anything besides stage all this bull crap in our face on social media. It got me to thinking, as I've said from the beginning, we've seen these people implicate other people by mentioning their names and putting them in storylines to confirm the allegations that these accusers have made. And then you have them jumping ship, flip-flopping, people coming out, making statements that leave more questions than answers. And then those people trying to clean up all the fucked up statements they've made. All this shit I've noticed. And when they can't feed their narratives to bloggers, we see the result. The same thing that we saw happening in R. Kelly's life, we have seen played out via YouTube. So it should be no surprise and no wonder that someone as high profile as R. Kelly would have all these vultures and this network of criminals around plotting for his demise.
And I'm all about that life like a dope boy. I got all these bitches spinning like a dope boy. Yeah, the cell is steady ringing like